I already got her to latch a little, yeah, and then yeah, Toya's here, as you guys can see. He's been doing daddy duties, running around. So beautiful to watch. My mom is also here. I mean, grandma. This is the work we came to do now. Have you? What's up, people? Bemi here. I'm a Nigerian lifestyle blogger based here in Lagos, Nigeria. I film about lifestyle, love, motherhood, and everything in between, pretty much. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. If you found yourself liking this video, my content, and everything on my channel, please click on the subscribe button and the notification bell to always get notified whenever I post new videos, okay? And if you're returning back to my channel, loyal gang, thank you guys so much for always being here, supporting me every time. And you know, I don't take it for granted in any way possible. Okay, so finally, oh, it's about to go down. You guys will see, finally she is filming labor and delivery story. You guys, this is the most requested video on my channel, and I feel I couldn't film it then because I just was not mentally prepared to still continue feeling the things I was feeling, so I didn't want to talk about it. But I feel like now I'm in a place that I could talk about it, and I also had to ask God for permission to talk about it because listen, my channel these days, I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? Do I do this? Do I not do that? So yeah, I had to ask God for permission, and He gave me the go ahead, and that is why I am filming this video. So if you want to see me talk about my labor and delivery of my adorable princess Oluwatise Ruby, just keep watching. So yeah, where do I even start from? I don't know, labor and delivery stories, where do they start from? Okay, I guess I just start from the 37th, the 38th week checkup at the doctor's appointment. Yes, let me just start from there. So the doctor had asked me if I had passed my mucus plug. Mucus plug is pretty much this mucusy bloody thing that comes out of you, kind of showing that, you know, you're almost getting ready for delivery and all that stuff, of which I also heard that sometimes they grow back, so it's not really a guarantee and everything. So yeah, I told him I had not passed my mucus plug, and then he did a cervix check on me. Cervix checks humble you guys, they humbled me, man. So cervix check is pretty much when the doctor puts his hand inside there and, you know, goes up to your cervix to see how far along or how well you're doing. How many centimeters you're dilated or effaced and all those stuff. So the doctor did a cervix check for me, which at that time it was still pretty comfortable. Like it was just uncomfortable, but it was pretty okay. It wasn't anything like serious. So I think he did it at my 37th week check, he did it at my 38th week check, and then I think at the 39th week check he was like, listen, by your due date, which is in a week time, if this baby hasn't come, we're most likely going to have an induction. And then the way he said it, I didn't think that it was up for discussion. This was my first child and I did not have any experience with all of these things. I didn't think I had to have a discussion with my doctor because the way he just said it, I thought it was just certain. I didn't know. It was later I was going to find out that I could have told him I wanted to wait a little more, you know, but honestly, I didn't want to wait a little more. I was just ready for this baby to be out of me. Also because, if you guys did not know, we didn't have our child in Nigeria. We had our child out of the country. So my husband came to join me a couple of days before my due date. That's how we had planned it. And then he only had 2 weeks off of work. So this baby needed to come out. I'm in a situation whereby the whole 2 weeks will go by and the baby has still not come, or the baby comes like a day before he's supposed to leave or something. Nah, like the bulk of the work is after the baby is born, so I needed this baby to out. So there was no way I was even going to like have that conversation with the doctor. And my mom too was already around because initially she wasn't, and then later she came to join me. So yeah. So the due dates came and, you know, nothing happened, and then so we scheduled an induction, and yeah, the hospital called me on the day that I was supposed to come, and I went there. And so yeah, we got there at 8 a.m. in the morning. My mom, myself, my husband, my auntie, actually my husband's auntie, which is my auntie also, and her husband. And yeah, so we got there, you know, started my paperwork. There was a whole ton of paperwork to be done. Ugh. But we got that. They made me remove my clothes. They put me in a room. The room was pretty nice. So they made me take off my clothes and they put me into this, you know, hospital gown, whatever. And then, you know, I did the paperwork, like I said, and then we got started on the induction process. So the first thing they gave me was Pitocin. I like to believe it's the same thing as oxytocin. I don't know. I've heard oxytocin, I've heard Pitocin. I don't even know. But yeah, so they got started with me on Pitocin, and it was the oral Pitocin, so they were giving me as drug. And yeah, so they were supposed to come up and checking me like every couple of hours, and to see, you know, what's going on, if the induction is, you know, moving along and everything. So it was just supposed to be a one-day thing. In fact, we had packed our hospital bag that day. It was supposed to be I get induced, IS max 12 hours, you know, start, you know, the baby will be here and everything. But fam. I took the first dose around like 9 a.m. and I immediately started getting contractions and all that. I haven't been checked to know, but the monitors right there like show like my contractions and everything, and the baby's heartbeat, and you know, everything is fine. I've been getting contractions, nothing too serious that I can't handle, you know, but it's pain. Pain is pain. Yeah. And then I just got the second dose after about 4 hours. Yeah, about 4 hours. But I got the second dose in a smaller dosage because I guess the first one worked so fast and they were just like, what's going on? So they had to cut it into a smaller piece, and yeah. So right now I am having contractions, but it's not anything that I cannot handle yet. So we got started on Pitocin, and you know, a couple of hours later, I want to believe like 4 or 5 hours later, I started having contractions. I was so happy. I was like, yes, you know, we even vlogged. My husband and I were already vlogging, like, yes, the baby is almost here, blah 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 blah. And then the nurse would come, she'll check the charts. There's this old chart that shows like my contractions and also shows like monitors the baby's heartbeat, because the nurses had said that the baby was their priority and not me. Like their patient was the baby and not me. So everything they were doing is the baby that they were actually caring for and not me. So they'll check the charts. And then it was showing like a spike of my contractions, and then I was having contractions back to back, and they would come in and they'll be so happy, like, okay, yeah, you're moving along, and then they'll do another cervix check. And then put their hands inside of me again and check and be like, oh, you're not dilated yet, you're not effaced, nothing. So we just continue. So that continued for 4 hours, 8 hours.
Since she cannot eat, this one is grubbing on ice. Ice chips don't come.
She reduced the volume.
Yeah, well.
Reduce the volume of that.
Baby wants us to know that she's around. Well,
I'm gonna have to do me this morning because I don't know how I'm surviving right now.
You know, some of us have not had anything to eat.
That's your business. You see, I don't want to eat.
I mean, I'm so excited to leave you here and go downstairs to eat. That thing you're doing, you're scamming. You're supposed to chew that thing, not dissolve it into water. Young woman.
I want to believe after 12 hours that nothing was happening, the doctor called and said that they should give me Cervidil. So now Cervidil is this thing that they insert inside of you, inside your cervix. God, like, I'm scared from people putting things inside of me. Like, honestly, I don't, in fact, I'm just tired. So I can laugh now, but then whenever I was telling the story to people, I was always crying because it was so painful. And so they put the Cervidil inside of me, and yeah, so immediately they put the Cervidil inside of me, the contractions got worse. Like, they got worse than before. You know, I was having pains back to back, you know, and At the time, the pains were so unbearable that one of the nurses that was now on shift at that time, nurses are just changing shift on my head, man. One of the nurses that was on shift at that time gave me some type of painkiller because I couldn't stand it. I don't know what the painkiller was. Maybe it was morphine. I don't know what it was, but it made me feel so good. My husband says, I don't remember, but my husband tells me that time, like, I felt like I was on cloud 9. So I was telling him, oh my God, Tuesday, I feel like I'm in this trance. I feel like I'm on the cloud. I'm trying to explain where I am to you, but you cannot understand. He said he was confused, like what is going on. But it made me feel good. And after all my ramblings and everything, I slept off. But then when I woke up in pains again. Maybe I want to believe maybe after like 4 hours. And I called the nurse. I was like, I'm in pains again. Like, what's going on? So apparently the nurse was like, well, because you're having contractions, you're supposed to be in pains. And I was like, well, so why can't you give me the painkillers that you gave me before? And she was like, oh, well, we can't give you because while you were asleep, the baby's heartbeat started becoming irregular. So basically, the painkillers were affecting Tishe, the baby inside of me. So she was reacting to it. Meanwhile, I was sleeping peacefully. I'm sleeping good, whenever this labor wants to kickstart, it should kickstart, but it was affecting the baby, so they had to stop me on it, and I was just supposed to battle it all by myself. So the first 24 hours comes and nothing. My mom was scared out of her mind. We were all worried. I was worried, and they'll check me again. This was maybe like the 5th cervix check. Guys, I was scarred like from cervix checks. Like they'll just I was so uncomfortable. They'll just say, oh, relax, lie down, and then they'll put their hands, and because I was having contractions, it was so painful. When I had cervix check in the hospital, at the doctor's appointment, it wasn't bad, but I think because I was having contractions, painful contractions, then you put your hand again to check something, and then because they kept going in back and forth, it's like you're scratching the surface of something. So I feel like that whole place became very sore. So it was so super painful. Guys, I cried. I cried. So after 24 hours, nothing happened. I was still maybe 0.8 centimeter dilated, or not even up to 1. They removed the Severdale, and then I guess they started me on oxytocin again. And yeah, that happened for another 12 hours, almost going to 14 hours or so, and still nothing was happening. I was still the same way that I was.
Oh. Mama has gone into Tokwe Labi mode. Singing praise and worship to the Lord Almighty. You have a special number. Anyways, guys,
how do I look?
Yeah. Beautiful, baby.
My God. Why can't I be one of those that water breaks, you rush to the hospital, you labor for an hour, and your baby's out? Why?
Oh, maybe because you're carrying a peculiar baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I am tired.
Our baby is really a diva like her mother.
I'm very tired. This baby is just taking precious time.
I cannot go home to sleep. They say it's me that caused it, so I have to be here. I'm not that caused it, so I have to be here overnight and sleep on the couch. Look at my bed. That's going to be my bed for this night. Prayers, people.
It's not that caused it. Who caused it before?
Yeah. Well.
I like how the first nurse girl, she was like, "You're not going anywhere. You made this. You did this.
You started this, so just be here to finish it.
So you have to finish it."
Anyway.
No, he wasn't planning to leave anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to go. How would I sleep? I mean, if I'm here, I know I'm here, and anything happens, I'm just a call away. So yeah.
So at least I got to eat
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to eat.
She had one dry sandwich like
one
this.
drier sandwich like this
with wheat bread.
It was wheat bread and it had ham. It had ham in it.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, it was ham. And I drank apple juice, little apple juice, and I was trying to steal in some cookies.
And they caught her.
And they caught me. They said
no. You cannot eat these things.
You can't eat it. So yeah.
So that you don't vomit on baby's head. Baby. You people, men. Just so that when you give your wife belly, every human being this way is going to see a nakedness when the time reach, because everybody is looking at my wife's bum up and down.
That's the least. That should be the
everybody is looking at my wife's bum up and down.
That should be the least of your worries.
I'm not thinking about it now because. But let's finish this thing first.
That should be the least of your worries, babe. The annoying part of pregnancy to labor to delivery is they shoving their hands up inside you. Like, that shit is so uncomfortable. Like, they be like, oh, breathe, just breathe. I'm like, breathe what?
Like, every freaking person comes in, wears latex gloves.
Yeah, just shoves and inside. Like, what do you think? What? And they're like, oh, I'm about to check you. I'm like, I feel like by now there should be like some type of technology for that.
Yeah, all you scientists out there, this is something like, for you. Please figure out something that is less invasive, that you can check how someone is dilated without putting a whole fist inside.
And like I'm not screaming, but I'm in. It's not even pain.
Discomfort.
It's just so much discomfort, and they're putting hands inside, and I'm just like, what? And they're trying to, like the other nurse, she kept doing. I'm like, it's one thing to put that inside.
It's another thing to be moving up and down.
Have you showed them where the baby's supposed to be?
Oh yeah, let me just show you guys the setup. Oh, this was a packed clipboard inside these things for the baby. What disrespect. Oh yeah, so the baby's supposed to be in this. Disregard the clipboards and normal saline. And I think that's where the baby goes in as soon as she comes out. And then baby comes in here after that. Just that little bassinet right there. So yeah.
And so my doctor comes and he's like, listen, we can continue this induction. Maybe you're just one of the people that, you know, induction has to take forever before you finally give birth. Or I don't know if you want to consider a C-section. Listen, once he said that C-section, I was up for it. I was like, I don't even care. I don't even want to know. I just want this baby out of me. I remember I was telling my mom, I was like, listen, I don't even care if anything happens to me. I just want this child to come out safe and sound, hale and hearty. This one that they're always already talking about, heartbeat is going down or is irregular. I don't even want to deal. Let's just have this C-section. I was expecting my mom herself to be like, oh, Ibru, listen, my mother was like, Kila and Rodi, what are we waiting for? Excuse me. She's like, Kila and Rodi, what are we waiting for? Oh, yeah. And my husband was still trying to ask me, am I sure that's what I want to do? Like, in his mind, he also wanted me to do the C-section, but he just wanted me to be sure that that's what I wanted to do, because, you know, I had been talking about how I wanted a normal delivery, I wanted a vaginal delivery, all through the pregnancy, and here we are at this crossroad. Like, was I sure that was what I wanted? I was like, hell yeah. That is what I so want. I want this baby out of me, and I want to stop being in pain. Like, I was crying. This was after like the 8th or 9th cervix check. I was crying. Like, the last one before my C-section, my husband actually told the nurse, nah, it's enough, it's okay. Like, I was bawling out. I was in pains. I went through labor pains basically without my baby coming out. And then so they brought in more paperwork to sign. Since I've changed my mind about the C-section, about the vaginal delivery, we signed all the paperwork, or my husband signed the paperwork. I was still in pains at this time, and then, you know, the doctors started, all the people that were going to be involved in the surgery started coming in. The anesthesiologist came in and explained what they were going to do. I was like, what is all this shalaye? Let's just get it over with, you know. My dad was in Nigeria. He was also praying. He was worried, you know. He literally was talking to my husband like, I know she's your wife, but she's my daughter, so let's get this C-section over with, you know. And then, yeah, like, before we knew it, under like 2-3 hours, I started getting prepped for, you know, a C-section. They were going to shave down there and all that. And then before you knew it, they wheeled me into the surgical theater. I sat up for my anesthesiology, whatever. What's that thing they give you? The anesthesia? Yeah, the anesthesia. So I sat down, and you know, when that one was what I knew what I was also going to feel pain about, because I had read about it. And you know, I just told the nurse, she was super nice. I was like, please, can I hold your hands? Please, can I hold? She was like, oh yeah, sure. Because at that time there was nobody there with me. My husband was getting dressed, because he was going to be inside the theater with me. So I held her hands, I squeezed her hands so tight, and yeah, they put the anesthesia inside of me, and you know, laid me down. And as soon as they put the anesthesia inside of me, like I felt this warmth all over my body, and then I was trying to use my head to move my leg, but it wasn't moving. Like my legs were not moving, they were numb. Like this is the first time I was going to have an actual major surgery, first time in my life, so I didn't know what it entailed or anything. So they laid me on the thing, and you know, they cut me open, and yeah, like it all began, and they cut me open, and you know, before I knew it, maybe somewhat of like 15 to 20 minutes of, you know, the whole, since they wheeled me in, I just heard this girl crying. Like I heard this baby crying from it, like she literally was crying from inside of me. I guess she was already so distressed because she was trying so hard to come out, and it wasn't just happening. We later found out why she wasn't coming out, but that's not something I'm willing to share. It's a medical issue that I had, but yeah. So yeah, like that was it. And then she came out, and you know, I remember the doctor was telling the surgeon was telling me, oh my god, that is so loud, that's your new ringtone. And I couldn't laugh or anything, because I was just like, oh, whatever. And then my husband was, I remember I heard my husband saying, oh my god, oh my god. And then the doctor was asking my husband if he had his phone so he could take pictures, and he was like, he wasn't even thinking of phone at that time, so he didn't bring his phone in or anything. And you know, they called him to cut the umbilical cord, and he cut it, and she was crying so much. She was crying so much. And yeah, that was it. That was basically how I delivered my baby. So I had a failed induction after almost 48 hours of being in labor and having contractions back to back. Still didn't have the baby, so I had to get a C-section done, and that was how I had my baby. The first 6 hours of her life, I didn't see her, because after my surgery was done, they wheeled me back in. I was in a trance. My mom said I was speaking in tongues and praying and singing. Me, I don't even remember any of this, but that's what I was doing. You know, I was in and out of it. And I guess when I kind of was a little bit, when I kind of knew what I was doing, and they're like, oh, where's the baby? I was like, I don't even want to see her, because I felt like she had taken me through so much pain. You know, when my husband brought her, like, oh, see her baby, I just, you know how people are like, oh my god, my baby, and you know, they're like, oh, they love their baby. I was just like, no, I don't want to see her. Like, I'm just so hurt and pained and angry. Like, I went through so much pain, and at the end of it, I still didn't have her vaginally. Do you understand? Like, after all that pain, like, if I knew that I was going to go through all that pain all for nothing, I should have just opted for an elective CS a long time ago. But I guess all things work together, you know, to them that believe. So yeah, that's how I had her. And I feel like after about 7-8 hours, they brought her back, because my husband said they were trying to regulate her temperature and her breathing, because I guess she was already stressed out. She was very, very stressed out. So that took a while, and my husband was with her the entire time. And they finally brought her back, and they were like, oh, you know, you need to breastfeed her. I was like, hey? In all of this, that I'm still in and out of it, like I don't even understand what's going on with myself. I should listen. And then that was how the struggle and ordeal of breastfeeding started again. I've talked about breastfeeding a million and one times, so go and watch any of my previous videos. So yeah, that is pretty much my labor and delivery story. It wasn't love at first sight, like people always say. When you see your baby, you will fall in love. No, I did not fall in love with the baby. Also, they say, oh, as soon as you have your baby, you forget the pain. No, I did not forget the pains. Like I can tell you that for the first 3 months after I had my baby, I was still, even right now as I'm talking, I'm still feeling like I'm clenching right now because I'm feeling the cervix checks, the ins and out that they were just putting their hands inside of me. And so no, I'm one of those that did not forget. It pained me. It's still paining me, sir. So so yeah, people always also say that when you have a C-section that the recovery is the hardest part. Guys, this was how I knew that God was on my side, because after 2 days I was already walking about. I was already good. Like, in fact, people were shocked. Like, you should still be in bed. No, I was already walking around. I was up and about, and this is my first time. Like, I was fine. I was good. This is how I knew that God was invested in my situation, because I was already thinking of weeks of just laying in bed doing nothing. You know, I was strong and healthy. God gave me that strength and healthy, and I wasn't faking it. I was genuinely strong and healthy. I was good. The only thing though was that my feet were swollen. My feet were, I don't know why, but I guess they say it's like the effects of the anesthesia. My feet were swollen. That was the only thing. Besides my feet being swollen, nothing else. I was good. I was hale and hearty. I was sound. I was, you know, taking care of my child, and I was fine. So I didn't have any issues. So yeah, that is pretty much how I had my baby. And you know, and like I said, I had a failed induction and eventually had a C-section. Going forward with any of my other children, honestly, you guys already even know self. I don't even need to tell you. My husband and I have said it. We're not even, no qualms, no shakara, no nothing. We're just going straight. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't want this video to be too long, and I know you guys have requested it for so long. I'm sure some of you will be like, that's it, that's all, that I did not do all this while. Yes, that I did not do all this while because I'm not strong like I wasn't strong like other women to come out and talk about it. It took me weeks and months of trying to wrap my head around everything. You know, every woman is different, you know, and I think because I took my time, that was why I also didn't have postpartum depression, and I'm thankful for that. So please give ladies time. Give them time. It's also okay for you to not love your child in the beginning. It doesn't mean you're going to love them any less. No. And it's also okay for you to take your time. When people were calling and like, oh, people actually have the audacity to call and say, oh, it was normal delivery, right? I'm like, what? Don't ask anybody that. Please don't ever ask anybody that kind of question. That's just rubbish. Don't do that, because you don't know what they went through. So don't ever do that to anybody. So yeah, yes, that is it. That is all that happened. That is what took me 6.5 months to come and talk about, because this is where I now, this was how long it took me to, you know, get my strength to talk about it. If you have a problem with it, you know what to do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys learned 1 or 2 things from this video. I really hope you did. If you have any questions concerning labor and delivery, maybe something I did not mention because it's been a while, leave it in the comment section below and let me know. And if you have any other questions about anything, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Let me tell you, not because my